Hey YouTube, I know I made a video about Toonami just recently, but I just thought I'd make another one because I went and did some research since then and I saw that, oh yeah, Toonami was brought back that one night for April Fools, but shortly after Adult Swim had tweeted, want it back? Let us know. And was flooded with a bunch of tweets, as much as Cartoon Network being flooded, and I'm pretty sure all these places still are getting flooded. Um, and recently they responded with, "We've heard you." Um, the results are in, or something like, "We've heard you. Thanks for the interest, appreciating and showing interest. Stay tuned." Meaning that Toonami might actually possibly be returning to the airwaves on, well, Adult Swim or Cartoon Network, whichever portion of the channel gets it. I will be happy just knowing it's back. Because I remember a lot of my best years with Toonami. As much as I remember, didn't get to see how the ending video went until I looked it up online, but I do remember towards the end it did start getting boring, and a lot of things started to just go wrong for the block, and that the president of Cartoon Network was prejudiced against Japanese anime because that was pretty much what was only being shown at the time, along with some American-made action cartoons. But for the majority of it, it was anime. And anyone who says it otherwise would be lying to themselves. But definitely, yes. Things did start sucking toward the end. But one of the reasons why was because the president of Cartoon Network is prejudiced, or if there's a different president now, that president was prejudiced towards Japanese anime, and I was like, what? When I heard about it, I mean, it just seems strange to me. And a lot of people are saying, oh, Toonami was canceled because it wasn't getting enough views and whatnot. Well, here's why. I mean, yeah, Toonami was left with Naruto at the end, but guess why? Because the president was like, okay, well, we're gonna shorten the block for an hour or two, and then, you know, people weren't watching the shows that were airing, which in the end it ended up being reruns of Naruto, or just straight up like a marathon every night, and eventually got to the point where views started to go down, and the president was like, "Oh, the views are going down. We gotta take it out." So, yes, while this sounds dramatized, it is the truth. I mean, you can actually look around. A lot of people will tell you, "Oh, the views went down," but if you actually look hard enough, you'll find the president of Cartoon Network openly attacked Japanese anime, saying, "Oh, Japanese anime has no story to it. That includes any of them. So that would mean that anime that we grew up with, like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Outlaw Star, Gundam, a lot of these animes, the president of Cartoon Network was calling just nonsense, and that it was all about the violence and action." Which is not entirely true, because yes, a lot of these shows had violence and action in them, but they were very much story driven. So that's clearly a one-sided thing, showing that you pretty much hate, you're against Japanese anime if you say something like that. To say that Japanese anime has no story to it, and then he tried to cover up that by saying, "Oh well, I really don't consider Voltron or um, he said one other show, a Japanese show. I forgot which one it was. But Voltron and maybe Gundam. Um, I don't remember what the other one was, but I know one of them was Voltron, and he said basically that it was not. He didn't consider it to be Japanese anime because it had a story and it didn't have that anime feel to it. That doesn't mean that's less of an anime. That just means that it's different. All anime is different. None of it's the same. So yes, there's some anime that has nonsense and comical moments as much as there's anime that is story driven. So why call Japanese anime a degrading form of cartoon art or, any kind of animation for that matter? I mean, I could easily say the same thing about, Camp Lazlo. This is violent. I mean, you got people hitting each other or sitting on spikes, basically the pine cone episode. Or cow and chicken. Oh, they're hitting each other with tables. They're hitting chairs. Powerpuff Girls. Oh, they're punching guys up. All of that's pretty much. That's not as violent as any anime. I mean, there may not be blood in these shows, but there's definitely violence. And well, what about Dexter's Laboratory? I remember they had a special movie airing one time on I forgot what it was called, but I do remember seeing someone lay down on broken glass. I was like, oh, and that's not violent? Yeah. So some of the past cartoons, if that's not violent, then I don't know what is. I mean, Sailor Moon was an anime that was story driven. Disney dubbed it and edited it horribly, but that doesn't mean it's not story driven. And Funimation dubbed DBZ in the past as well as now in the present, and they left all the story elements intact. And yes, it was violent, but it was no more violent than watching Superman or Batman fight their villains. And then they call anime weird, but what is fighting a refrigerator monster? How is that any different from fighting a clay villain? Like because in the Batman anime series they had Clayface, which he was a man that turned into a thing of clay because of some experimental drug gone wrong, but the point is, he was still a thing of clay, just like they had ink in Batman Beyond and all these other things going on. So why not bring Toonami back if a lot of these other stations, like The Hub, is airing a lot of old cartoons, and Cartoon Network recently started re-airing some of their older cartoons like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Powerpuff Girls, what other cartoons? Cow and Chicken, Ed, Edd and Eddy, things that they used to air back then. So it's safe to say that, please help the Bring Toonami Back campaign. Please support it. Not only because you want it, but it'd be nice for the generation now, in the present, that's just getting to start their lives, to be able to see what we back then got to see. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Post, rate, comment, subscribe if you want. Have a nice day, y'all. And have a nice day, y'all. Bye-bye for now.